Okay, started the stream. Gonna share it with my team. Uh-oh, should not be showing showing this on. Oh wait, no, I have a title card. I can block it. It's fine. Oh Jesus. Okay, one of these days I will get this right. Hmm. Go sharing that with my team. Great. Okay. Oh wait, gotta point the camera down. Camera, great. Hello. Hi. Hope you're doing well. It is Thursday, 9:40 a.m. Today we are going to be doing a bit of live coding where I try to fix a bug, and not really a bug, but sort of an edge case within HSDS React. And at Help Scout we refer to this as the escape stack, where if you have multiple components that are layered that can be closed by pressing escape, they should know how to like close themselves one by one every single time you press escape rather than close all of them on a singular escape press. So typically when you build components, like modals are a great example. Um, Often you won't really need to nest modals, but it's a pattern. It's not too uncommon of a pattern, and it's something that we have to support. So when people typically build modals, they bind the escape press to the modal component itself, and that thing will then trigger the closing mechanism of that modal. However, if you have multiple instances of that modal, they aren't aware of each other. So when you press escape, all of them will close. So you need some sort of external higher level thing that is aware of all these different closable instances and work with them accordingly. So for HSDS, we do have this escape mechanism built into the modals, but we need to also build this escape mechanism into dropdowns, tooltips, and popovers because they can potentially appear in a modal. So when I coded tooltips, popovers, and dropdowns, I didn't. I guess I didn't foresee them being inside of a modal, especially a nested modal. I, I guess I should have known, but it was something that I missed. I mean, they have their own escape mechanisms, which is fine, but we need some way to make sure that escape can work through all of them in a in a stacking way. So here we go. This is what we got. These are the things that we need to pay attention to. So um, I did a deep dive for portals, I believe, 2 days ago, and talked about all about portals, how they work inside of HSDS. And portals are the thing that is responsible for rendering a piece of UI from an arbitrary place within the DOM tree at at another location, typically the document body level. And drop downs, popovers, tooltips, and modals all use this portal mechanism in order to render their inner child components. Okay, great. We know this. Great, perfect. So back in the day, back in the day, when I first created modals, I knew that we needed to have this sort of escape mechanism support. So the idea was I would create something called a portal wrapper, which is a higher order component that binds a some component to the portal mechanism. And inside of this portal wrapper, this is where the escape manager lives. So I have some sort of namespace here, and I instantiate it with the setup manager. This was fun. I added some Arrested Development references in here into the code base as comments. It's fun. So yeah, all this escape manager is it is a huh, it is basically a set. Um, yeah, this push mechanism. It's basically a set, functions like a set that's added onto the global namespace, which is window, and it is when you interact with it, you're able to add, remove um, IDs basically on this manager thing, and you're able to figure out which one's the first, which one's the last one, and how many you have in total. That's all this thing does. Doesn't do very much, just some sort of manager thing, and it's up to, at the moment, this portal wrapper component to work with that, using that as the cache mechanism to basically coordinate the opening and the closing of the component that is wrapping with the escape manager and figuring something out there. And this works fine. However, not all the components are bound with Portal Wrapper. At the moment, I believe only dropdowns are. No, not sorry. Only modals are. So I have to make a decision. For dropdowns, tooltips, and popovers, should I wrap them with Portal Wrapper? So I'm looking at this. So looking at this component, it's not too terribly complex, but it does make a lot of assumptions on things, which are fine. They I think when I built this, originally I had like a lot of convenience things built into it. So here it knows how to render a trigger mechanism, and that trigger mechanism is a thing that controls the opening and the closing, which is good for modals. And I suppose all the other ones, because popovers, dropdowns, and tooltips, they require a trigger mechanism in order for you to engage with it, but not all the time. You should be able to open them programmatically by switching the in prop from true to false or false to true. So my plan A is to see if I can wrap those components with a portal wrapper, see how that goes. If that doesn't work, plan B would be to abstract some of this logic out, create some sort of more general escape stack portal thingy, wrapper thingy, and that will become the entity that will handle all of this. So either way, we want some sort of single thing that can handle all of this functionality. We don't want to duplicate any of this stuff because it's complicated. So let's do it. Going to fire up HSDS React. I'll just work in the master branch for now. Run start. Cool. Firing it up. Alrighty. So while that's going, I'm gonna take a look at the dropdown code. This massive dropdown code. By the way, dropdowns are by far the most complicated component within HSDS. And I mentioned this to several of my teammates. Dropdowns are literally the most challenging thing I've ever coded in my entire career. They are next level nuts. I've built, like I mentioned, I did a deep dive on Fancy, our CSS and JavaScript thing. I've worked with CSS object models, CSS compilers, complex node things that need to symlink and interact with each other. I've created essentially a lightweight version of React Redux, a data management system. I've done all that stuff. They don't hold a candle compared to how complex dropdowns are. Geez, they are next level nuts. And I can talk about that in another deep dive. Probably need to have 5 deep dives to like explain how insane dropdowns are. And it's not just me, man. I'm not like intentionally making them difficult. They are just very difficult. A good, well, something that kind of proves that is back in the day, back in the old West, back in the day, Bootstrap 2 used to support nested dropdowns. They dropped that in Bootstrap 3. I don't know the exact reasons why. I've looked at some issues, and I can make an assumption. It's just because nested dropdowns are very complex and hard, so they drop support for it. Smart, because they are very complex and hard. So here we have a dropdown, and I need this particular menu component thing to be wrapped in that portal wrapper. I suspect this is not going to be as easy as it sounds. because yeah, this is not gonna. I don't even think I can do this plan A. So the reason for that is because the thing that's controlling the open close mechanism, the thing that's controlling the open close mechanism is something that comes from the Redux store. Underneath the hood, Dropdown uses Redux, which is the library that I created. That's like 6 kilobytes or something, or something very very tiny compared to React Redux. I don't even think it's 6 kilobytes. Should be smaller, which is great for libraries because it keeps it lightweight and you retain all of the functionality. Oh, so how do I do this? I'm just gonna give it a shot. Let's just see what happens. So instead of doing that, I'm gonna do portal wrapper. Okay, so I have my prop connected component here. Technically, I don't need to do this anymore, but it's fine. I'll just leave that alone for now. Const portal wrapped component equals portal wrapper. It's a high order, so first one, I don't want to give it any options, which is totally fine. And then I am going to wrap my prop connected component, and then I am going to pass that through to here when I connect it to the store. I'm gonna comment this out. There we go. And now let's check. Let's see what happens, and I'm sure it's gonna break. It should not work. Wow, that worked. Why? How on earth did this work? No way. Absolutely no way. How on earth? Oh, maybe I'm just did a great job and it knows how to work. I am don't understand. Well, maybe okay. So this portal wrapper thing, it passes all the properties that you would get from anything else through to the composed component or the wrapped component. Mm, all right, just okay. I'm just gonna so it renders, which is great. So now we're gonna see if the component has been registered to the manager cache. What on earth did I call it? Not Bluetooth. Um, it's bound here somewhere. Window.blue portal. Okay. I'm gonna try. Oh no! I misclicked. I'm gonna open this up in iframe. Wrong iframe. Here. Okay. Work with me. iframe.html. Handy trick if you're working within Storybook and you want to see a component render in isolation, just add iframe.html to after the slash, and Storybook will only render that component within an iframe. Very handy. Makes it fast. All right. So in theory, this is the only window now. Great. Something registered, but it's registering at 1000. The reason why, okay, I got it. I got it. So this is an older component, and if I were to code this again, it'd be quite different, but it's fine, it works. So what this does is it tries to create a unique index for you. Anytime you try to render multiple versions of the thing. And this is quite handy. Inside of HSDS, there is a utility called Create Unique Index Factory. I got this from Shopify way back in the day. Thank you, Shopify. Wow, it's still a JS file. I need to convert this to TypeScript. It's fine. And this is really good for things like inputs and dropdowns or anything where you need to declare an ID and have a unique version of that ID. So by registering this function, so if I had something like const unique ID equals create unique ID, create unique ID factory, and then you can give it a prefix of some kind. So I'm just going to call this one dropdown, and then when you instantiate it like that, it'll render dropdown 1, dropdown 2, dropdown 3, dropdown 4, and so on. So every single new instance of dropdown will get a unique ID, guaranteed. And all it does is basically, it's a, what is this? A function that returns a function. I don't know, curried function, higher order something, I'm not sure. Technical terms. That has an index stored in the cache, and then every single time a new instance or a new instantiation is made, it just ticks it up by 1 with a counter, and then there you go. Unique IDs. Without needing to use a library like UUID or any of that nonsense. All right. So when you instantiate this, you can give it a namespace of some kind, ID. I called it ID. Okay. ID. This is the drop-down menu container. So by doing this, this should... I wish this had hot reloading. I'm sure there's a way to do this without having to do refreshes, but it's fine. Okay, that didn't work. Why? Extended options. I want to see what options. I want to see what the options are. Why are default options mixed with options should give you options? All right. So the ID is this. Portal wrapper. ID is drop down. ID is modal. Why is it modal here? Where on earth? There should not be a modal anywhere, but it's being registered somehow. Curious. It's fine. It is fine. Again, I'm just doing like a time-boxed little experiment just to see if this will work and to see if this is worth exploring. If so, great. If not, then it's fine. I'm not gonna do it. So the ID is being registered there, but somehow when it's trying to create the unique instance, it's not working right. So now I'm just going to log the extended options because that's the thing that gets merged between the two. Okay, it's there. Unique ID, portal wrapper ID. Great. So this is the thing that creates it, and I want to see what it is. Console log. This dot something. There you go. 1,000. Oh, interesting. So this does work, but it okay. So this is okay. This is coming back to me. This is a little bit unexpected. It works. It's unexpected. So there are unique IDs being generated, but it's not using the ID of the thing. It's using just some arbitrary index ID. So it's just starting with 1,000 and it'll increment accordingly, which is fine. But I'd prefer if it used a actual unique ID. I mean, theoretically, this should still work. Portal wrapped component ID. Does this unique ID generate anywhere? It does, into the state. I feel like I can do something better. So if I do that, then I can just do this. Okay. Okay. And now I'm just going to pass portal wrapper ID. That's done somewhere. This portal wrapper ID. This portal wrapper ID. Okay. I'm just going to replace it here. So now I should see not a number, but cool. Replace of undefined. Get unique ID index. Okay, I'm just gonna undo all that. It worked before. I know what's happening. It's fine. So it's using 1000 as the base number, and it's going to increment accordingly. I don't know why that particular thing I did didn't work, but it's fine. Whatever. Um, so pressing escape still closes it, but I wonder what's actually handling that. So here we have the escape close here state. So does it even go through this mechanism? So it does. And there's a guard here where this part doesn't actually fire because right now it's not open. At least I hope it's not open. This state is open. But let's see how this one gets it. Is open? Okay, cool. So the is open property is then fed through here, which is good because this one knows how to listen to is open because it maps is open from the props to the state. And that's how you're able to communicate it, and that's how this one is able to internally keep track of itself. Okay, so now if I press escape, great. So there is a mechanism. So this thing still registers. I need this to then control how this closes. So I need to remove the escape handling from within here, which is not handled by this. Of course it's not. That would be way too easy. It is handled by something else. It is handled by here. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's not too bad. So the thing that happens is it needs to refocus the trigger node, which is the original thing that you clicked. So if it was like a button that opens a drop down, and when you close it, it'll refocus the button, which is what you want. So now I'm just commenting out the part that closes the menu because we don't want that mechanism being handled by drop down anymore. Oh, that worked. It's a little slow, but it worked. It kind of worked. So this close works, right? Let me see, this works. I'm pressing escape. Oh no, I should show my keyboard. Keyboard viewer. That's fun. Yeah, you can see my keyboard as I type and stuff. Um, so if I open this and I press escape, my keyboard became giant. Um, but if I click it again, it doesn't open. And that is because this portal wrapper thing isn't communicating correctly with the drop down itself. Son of a bee sting. So we have two mechanisms right now that kind of do the same thing, but then they're in separate worlds right now, and I'm trying to merge them, but they're fighting with each other. Huh. Okay. Hmm. How can Portal Wrapper project its close mechanism to the drop down? There has to be some sort of callback. Force close portal, sequence close portal, on escape, handle, blah, blah, blah. Close portal. Close portal. What is being passed through to the consuming component? Close portal. On close. On close? Okay. I'm giving the portal wrapper is giving the wrapped component several callbacks here. Close portal, open portal, on close, and so on. Portal is open, portal is mounted. Those are booleans. I don't need to pay attention to that. Close portal. This is it. I think. Let me just see how modal does it. That's a good one. Close. Nice. Close portal. There it is. This one's not very helpful. I might have to abandon this soon. Yeah, I need to communicate this mechanism between the two. I just don't know how to do it without writing really awful stuff. Yeah, I might have to abandon this. And then abstract the manager part out and then do things. So here's what we can do. Just as something to verify that there's a miscommunication happening. So within the drop down, const state reducer, there's a little thing called a state reducer. State that can be added to dropdown, and it's basically a middleware layer that allows the user to intercept and manipulate the state before it gets applied to the internal store of dropdown. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to return the state, but then I'm going to log it as things happen. So just to verify, state reducer equals state reducer. Great. So if I open it, nothing happens. Why? I swear it is called state reducer. Am I missing something? There's a state reducer somewhere. Is this? Oh, that's why I'm in the wrong dropdown thing. That's fun. Huh. So, backstories. There's two, similar to buttons, there's two dropdowns. Dropdown V1, dropdown V2. Dropdown V2 is fantastic. It is is that super highly complex thing that I've been working with today. Dropdown V1 is the initial attempt to implement something like Dropdown V2, which worked for a little bit, but ran into issues, which is why I needed to rebuild it. Cool. So now we have a state reducer inside a dropdown, and it'll communicate every single thing it does anytime state changes, like so. So when it's open, here we can see when you're hovering over it, it's console logging all that state out. In addition to the state, I need to know what actions are being fired. So the secondary argument for this is action. The action is probably a little bit more. No, I'll log both. Why not? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the dropdown, I'm going to close it, and I'm going to see what kind of actions and stuff get called in the state of the dropdown. I suspect that the state of the dropdown will still be open. Okay, press escape. The what is it? That portal wrapper mechanism kicked in, which you can see from this key event here, and the dropdown unmounted because the menu itself is now removed from the DOM, which is fine. This is bound to a portal within, but the state of the dropdown is still open. We need some way to change it to false when this closes. Okay, I'm gonna try a thing. What is it? So there are a bunch of actions inside of here. Close drop down, so unclose dispatch, close drop down. This is basic. This is a standard Redux setup. So now I need to see how this thing reduces itself. Okay, so I just need to fire some sort of close drop down something. Not too hard. So I need to do it on menu unmount. Okay, got it. All right, all right. Cool, cool, cool. I need to close drop down. Great, it's here. Close drop down, close drop down, close drop down. Okay, I'm not doing anything with it, which is kind of strange, but it's fine. Menu unmount, menu unmount, menu unmount. Where is it? Where is it? Ah! On menu, close, cancel that. Great. It pops. Close drop down. Okay, so with that, this should work. I think. Oh, no, no, no. I need to remap something. So that the portal wrapper can understand it. Portal wrapper. Okay, give me one moment, please. So there has to be some sort of close hook. Escape handle on close. What do? You do all this. Close portal. What is close portal? For okay. I need this guy to fire some sort of callback that I can tap into. This props on before close. On close. Huh. Handle on close. Nothing gets passed in. Okay. I'm just going to add a new thing in here. Fine. So this one is I'm just going to try it as a test. Close portal. This. Oh my god, close. It's a good prop name. I will do it as a callback after set state. So here's a fun thing about set state. Save set state or whatever. Oh shoot, save set state. Great. Call back. Once that is done, then call back. Great, cool. In React, when you do a set state, I'm going to write some pseudocode for a moment. When you do this set state to do a thing, and you have your next line that might depend on like the state that you just set, like I don't know, something like this. So if you depend on something like this, there is a chance this might not work because this is actually a asynchronous kind of thing that happens. So there's no guarantee that when this fires and when this does its thing, that this particular property will be whatever this is. So what React does is that they provided a callback as a secondary argument where after this thing is done, then you are able to do something like that. And I believe the state is the property or the argument that they give you. So by doing something like this, you have a more reliable order of operations in order to like set state for one and do something with the state after the fact. Cool. Now we know. Where's oh my god close? Great name. I am going to then remap this to OMG close to close dropdown. I think that's how it works. I can remap props like that, right? I think so. And then that gets passed on to the portal wrapped component thing, and the portal wrapped component thing will be able to fire it. Great. Close. Close dropdown. If I click it, it opens. Perfect. So now this is working. It's working. There are some issues with it. The main one I can see and I know of is that there are two portals going on right now. One internally here, the other one with the portal wrapper. So yeah, that's not great. I need to refactor this somehow. So, but let's roll with it for now. So what happens if I have a dropdown that appears within a This can remove the state reducer. What happens if I have a dropdown that appears within a modal? And for that, we have this particular example here within a modal. So I have a modal. If I press escape, that should still. Ah, that's right. Okay. It's complaining because OMG close is a really dumb prop that I just created that doesn't exist by default. Fair enough. Prop types. With prop types, I don't care. Default props are here. Here we go. OMG close is a. Do I have a noop here? Noop. Great. Cool. So with that, it shouldn't complain anymore. It should work. I'm still console logging something. Console. Yeah, I don't want this anymore. Okay. So if I press escape, it's gonna reload. So if I press escape, this should close. Great. So if I open this, I open the dropdown. If I press escape, the dropdown will close. And now if I press escape again, the modal will close. Yay, we did it, team. We did it. So just to confirm, so if I open the dropdown and I update the state and the dropdown does drop down things, I can still work with the dropdown how I expect it to be. Hello. And the fact that the dropdown is dropping down like this and being cut off, this is I intentionally made it do this inside of this story. Otherwise, it should know how to readjust itself, which I'm not going to do right now because it'll refresh and I'll lose whatever it is I'm doing. But so if I drop down, if I press escape, it closes. Right. If I drop down, if I click outside of the drop down, it should close. Nope, not right click. Right. So once the drop down has closed, if I press escape again, the modal should close, which it does. So if I open the modal, let me check the manager, which is not available here because of iframe reasons. Fine. Let me go into the iframe. This doesn't solve tooltips and popovers, but we'll just do this for dropdowns for now. Just because this is what we need for the bug fix. So if I check out the manager, I have 1000. That's the initial index. If I open this, I should have 1000 and 1000. I have two 1000s. That's not expected. It should be 1000 and 1001. Let me see what's going on. That didn't change. And I have multiple instances of portal wrapper, so I'm just going to console log it. So if I'm going to console log this portal wrapper ID. So now I'm expecting a couple of them. 1000. 1000. They're both starting at 1000. Curious. Oh, I know why. Because this needs to be on the outside. Not when I instantiate this, but on the outside. Alright, so that is a very interesting little bug. Now it should work. 1000, 1001. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So that's a good catch. And yes, this should be guaranteed unique now at this point. That was an issue there. Cool. Let's put it through a much bigger test. We have a story for a big test. Auto drop down, so I can pluck the story. Why does this thing keep changing in size? I don't know why the keyboard keeps changing in size. There's a weird thing that I do. Because I've used Vim for several years, I've actually remapped HJKL to arrow keys when I press Control. So if I hold down Control and I press either HJKL, they actually do the up and downs. And I guess Apple's keyboard mapper thingy doesn't like, or not mapper, the keyboard interface thing doesn't like that. It's fine. It is fine. So I need a drop down with, I don't need items. I just need to render a drop down of some kind. Okay, cool. Modal stories. Auto drop down. Auto drop down. Okay. So there is a story I have that shows like 5 nested modals, and I need that one here. So within this nested modal, there also happens to be an auto drop down. Great. Oh, why not? Why not? Let's put 2 auto drop downs within this heavy nested modals set. I think that's the most nested one. I can't remember. Anyway, let's give it a shot. Okay, after this, when I'm done with this, like verifying this idea works, I'm gonna refactor the stuff I did. I'm gonna stop the stream. I'm gonna refactor the stuff I did, and then I'm gonna submit a PR. Because yeah, this was nice to prove that this concept worked. Okay, modal nested here. Yes, clicky. It's going to open an iframe because Storybook is slightly annoying that way. It's fine. Level 2, level 3. So now I have 3 level nested dropdowns. 2 of them have 3 level nested modals. 2 of them have dropdowns. So if I do window.blue, I should see 3. It's okay that this one doesn't increment like 1 and then 2 and 3. As long as they're unique, that's all I care about. So once I open this should still work. No results because I didn't give it any items. I should now see 4. So as soon as I press escape, I have to click back into here. Okay, press escape, that one should close. Press escape, level 3 modal should close. Open dropdown. I should now see 3 because I have level 1, level 2, and now dropdown. Press escape, press escape, dropdown should close. Press escape, level 2 should close. Press escape, level 1 should close. Press escape, nothing happens. Okay, I'm going to open them all again. Okay. Press. Here's the interesting thing. What if I force close the dropdown? Sorry, what if I force close level 3 while the dropdown is open? Then the dropdown should know how to close itself and unregister itself from the manager. So at the moment, I should have 4 items. Like so. And again, these IDs are unique now because I've closed the instances and I've reopened them. That's why the drop-down ones I think are different. It's fine. As long as they're unique IDs, that's all I care about. Okay. I'm going to close level 3 while the drop-down is still open. That doesn't work. That doesn't work because the closing mechanism always closes the last one, the last item from the array. So what happened was, regardless of how I fired some sort of closing mechanism, it will remove this one from the stack. But I needed it to remove this one. So, oh my goodness. Okay. Oh my gosh. So there's one final piece, I think, from this, in that there has to be a way to communicate between the manager, the portal wrapper, the portal, and the wrap component. There has to be some way to communicate between them where there could be two cases. One is like I am that what I am. If you were to close something else, if you were to press escape or close or do something, always close me. But the other, that's what a modal is. And for the drop down, it should be like, um, try to close me if I'm the most, if I'm the last one in the stack. But if something else tries to close, let them do it. It's fine. I don't care. So one of them is super opinionated, the other one is not. And somehow we need to work that logic into whatever's going on in here. So theoretically, the array could have 30 items. The dropdown would be the last one. And if I wanted to, in theory, close item number 2, then the dropdown that's bound to it should close as well. Oh, how are we going to do that? My first thought is to kind of pass a boolean in as an option to when you instantiate the portal wrapper. And based on that boolean, it will then know how to handle itself. Let's try it. Why not at this point? Why not? So default options, what are defaults? Okay. One is, let's just call it always close on always close if last. It's fine. I'm gonna update what this is. Always close if last is true by default. And for the menu container thing, when we instantiate this guy, we're gonna give this property of always close if last to false. So just to test if this boolean even works, we'll do something here. I'm just gonna, excuse me, I am going to find the close mechanism of portal wrapper. I'm already in portal wrapper. Close. So I need to find the close mechanism here. Close portal. Okay, great. So there's something here. So it's like if this props. Oh no. This options. I need to pluck it from the extended options. Const always. What I call it? Always close if last. From extended options. So we're very close to getting this working from a conceptual level. Then I need to do refactors, but we're close. So if not always close, if then return, then just don't close the modal. Don't close the dropdown rather. Okay, this breaks many other cases, but here I just want to test if this Boolean thing even works. So this can open, this can open, this can open, it's great. So if I open up the dropdown, if I press escape, the modal should close and the dropdown should close as a result of that. Oops. Nope. Theory incorrect. But why? Oh, shoot. Yeah, because it's still doing that check because it's not the last one. Oh my gosh. Okay, back to the drawing board. So here's what we have. We have an array where the things are being tracked. And we need it to be an array because the things that get added to it we need them to be in sequential order. The number doesn't matter. The number, this could be 7, this could be 1000. It doesn't matter. It's just checking the index of these numbers. That's the main thing. So here, let's have modal 1. We have several modals. 2, 3. Right, let's just follow the thing we got in the DOM. So we have the 3 modals. We open modal 1. So now we're opening modal 2. Modal 2 has a dropdown. We don't open it. We open modal 3. Modal 3 has a dropdown. We don't open it. We open modal 3's dropdown, like so. So here we have dropdown 1. If I press escape, that means dropdown 1 should close, like so. Let's undo that. If I close modal 3 somehow by pressing the thing to force it to close, then this should be removed and this should be removed. Right. But here's the thing though, like there is, at least with how modals work, I'm going to add this constraint. There's absolutely no way for me to close modal 2 without closing modal 3. So we don't have to worry about that here. Okay, backtracking a bit. What if on modal 2 I happen to open the drop down inside of modal 2? Like so. It's blocking it's blocking the level 3 thing, but like if I were to then open, I'm gonna make this guy drop up so I can actually click on that level 3 open thing and let's see what happens. Oh boy, this is Inception level stuff, man. This is pretty nuts. And for the most part, typically you would not really deal with this level of nestedness and also closingness of this escape stuff, but it needs to be robust. It needs to be solid for this stuff to be reliable and to work. So now the drop down should drop down, and I can open level 3 from here. So what should happen is this is open. If I open level 3, it should do modal 3. But because the drop down knows how to close itself when an external source is clicked, like the background or something, by doing this, drop down should close, modal 3 should open, and because it closed, it unregistered itself from the cache, from the manager. And I can try to prove it by doing this. So we only see 3. So this particular, if I'm like in this situation, this is fine. This works fine. I just need to make it so that if the dropdown happens to be the last one, I am able to close a non-last one somewhere, like 3, and the dropdown needs to close. So I have an idea. So, and I am not going to do this whatever I just did. This always close on something something. Okay, here is my idea. And I'm 99% confident this will work. Okay, what is it that we're trying to intercept and track with this manager? with this manager, we're trying to control the flow of the closing mechanism if the escape key is pressed. That is the condition of which this logic flows. However, if you as a user click on a close button, being the X, or the overlay underneath, which is this guy, you are closing. This closing mechanism is, I feel like, it's different from the escape closing mechanism, because now you're like kind of force closing it. So because now we're splitting the initial singular logic stream into two, I'm going to handle the clicking of the X and the clicking of the overlay differently compared to the escape route. Okay, so to do this, force close modal, I am going to expose force close modal to the force close portal, this force close portal to the composed component. And that is, at the moment, I need to deal with modal. So at the modal, when you on click, I want you to close portal. No, I want you to force close portal. And for the X, close, where is it? Where is it? Here we go. On click, I don't need you to close mode, I need you to force close portal. So with that, let's check. Okay, click. I'm able to open. I am able to close. No, I'm not. I'm undefined force close portal. This is something to do with like this. This thing is not working. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. There we go. So now we know what this is. Great. Fine. Okay. Click here. Close. Now nothing is registered here. Open. We have a register. Close. Unregistered. Open. Open level 2. We have 2 registered. Close with escape. 1 registered. Open level 2. 2 registered. Close by X. Closing. 1 registered. Open level 2. Open drop down. Press escape. Drop down closes. Press X. And now we have 2 registered. Open drop down. We'll have 3 registered. Great. Press escape. Drop down closes. Oops. Press escape. Drop down closes. Press escape. Level 2 closes. Press escape. Level 1 closes. Great. So now we have open this. Open level 3. No, let's try this. Level 2 drop down is open. Let's open level 3 modal. Drop down should close. Level 3 modal should open. Great. Open level. So now we have 1, 2, 3 registered. Let us. Whoops. I clicked on something. Let us open level 3 drop down. 4 registered. I'm going to press escape. I'm going to reopen this again because I have to click on this DOM in order for me to work with it, because I'm clicking back and forth between the console and the thing. I have to reset it. Okay. Escape, drop down should close. We have 3. Escape, level 3 should close. We have 2. Escape, level 2 should close. We have 1. Escape, level 1 should close. Great. I'm going to open all this again. Nope. Here. I'm going to force close level 3, and by clicking the X, and the drop down should close. It works, but there's a rendering problem where the drop down, because the modal is closing. It's fine, whatever. Well, I'll deal with that in a bit. But the escape stack is working. Okay, so we have 2 registered. If I open the level 3 modal again, we have 3. Oops, we have 3. If I open the dropdown, it's fine. If I click the overlay of the modal, dropdown should close, level 3 should close as well. I'm going to confirm I have 4. Yep, and then after that we'll have 2. Yep. So the rendering problem is the dropdown is snapping to the very top of the DOM when the modal closes, and the reason why that happens is because dropdown is portaled, and dropdown has an internal animation loop that recalculates its position based on wherever the trigger is. And that is how the dropdown is able to reposition itself wherever the trigger may be. Again, I can go into this with dropdowns, but from a conceptual higher level thing, we got this working. The portal wrapper has a manager that is able to be the brain between various components that can open and close. And it basically orchestrates the order of which the closing mechanism happens. And we have added a split logic branch for the closing mechanism where, for escape closes, we'll follow the traditional path of the manager where it'll close based on the last item of this particular array or the cache, or we can force close it, and then that bypasses this whole manager thing in general. And we're going to do force closing based on if we close the X or if we click on the background. Otherwise, we'll stick with however the manager handles it. And with that, we have a working escape stack. Some things I need to do are to clean up the rendering of the dropdown when it closes by clicking when its parent modal is being closed. Need to fix that. Need to do some refactoring within the dropdown so there's no double portaling happening, which isn't the worst thing in the world. Actually, it's pretty bad. So there's no double portaling happening, and fix up some tests, and I'll write a PR, and then we have our fix for closing dropdowns within arbitrarily nested modals that could potentially happen. And with that, that concludes our live coding session. Hopefully you found this helpful. This was quite the doozy. And yeah, hope you have a great day. Catch you later. Bye.